In today's episode, we'll cover everything you need to know about the ZZ plant care, troubleshooting some common problems, and finally, we'll show you how to carefully divide the ZZ plant root ball to multiply your ZZ plant. And also, we'll show you an extremely rare event that happens with ZZ plant. Coming up. The ZZ plant, scientifically known as Zamioculcas Zamiifolia, it's famous for its wide, attractive, dark green leaves. It hails from Eastern Africa, thriving in drought-prone areas, which accounts for its amazing resilience and minimal care requirements. ZZ plants are not only beautiful but also known to purify the air. Let's discuss the sunlight requirements of ZZ plant. Sunlight is a crucial factor for any plant, and ZZ plant is no exception. These plants prefer indirect light, making them perfect for indoor settings where natural light is moderate. The ideal spot for ZZ plant is near a window that receives filtered sunlight. Direct sunlight can scorch its leaves, so if you notice any yellowing or curling, it might be time to move your plant to a shadier spot. Let's discuss the watering requirements of ZZ plant. When it comes to watering, ZZ plants are quite low maintenance. They have rhizomes beneath the soil that store water, which helps them survive drought conditions in their native habitat. In your home, it's best to water the ZZ plant only when the top inch of the soil is dry. You can use the finger dip method to check the soil for dryness before watering. Overwatering can lead to root rot, which is one of the few things that can actually kill this hardy plant. During winter, reduce watering to once in a week or even less, depending on the humidity and the temperature of your zone. Now let's move on to soil and repotting. The right soil mix is vital to keep your ZZ plant healthy. Use a well-draining potting mix designed for cacti or succulents, which will prevent water from pooling at the roots. Make sure your pot has drainage holes at the bottom. Repotting should be done once every 2 to 3 years, or when you see the roots starting to crowd the container, that is, when it becomes root bound. This is also a great time to check the health of the roots and trim any that are decayed or too long. Now let's discuss the fertilizer requirements of ZZ plant. ZZ plants require very little fertilizer. Fertilizing in the growing months of spring and summer is usually sufficient. Avoid over-fertilizing, as this can lead to salt buildup in the soil and can harm the plant. Add a handful of decomposed cow dung or vermicompost once every 3 months, which is more than sufficient. Now the general maintenance of ZZ plant. Dust can accumulate on the leaves of your ZZ plant, which can hinder its ability to photosynthesize efficiently. Gently wipe the leaves with a damp cloth every so often to keep them clean and healthy. This not only improves the plant's appearance but also supports its growth by promoting photosynthesis. Now ZZ plant flowering. The ZZ plant very rarely produces flowers. Though they are not the primary attraction of this popular house plant, the flowers of the ZZ plant are small and not particularly showy, typically appearing at the base of the plant near the soil line. They are similar to the flowers of a peace lily with a spadix and a spathe. The spadix is a fleshy spike covered with tiny flowers, while the spathe is typically a pale boat-shaped bract that surrounds the spadix. These flowers are generally cream, light yellow or brownish in color, and they often go unnoticed due to their positioning beneath the plant's elegant, waxy, dark green leaves. Now the propagation techniques. Propagating a ZZ plant can be done in several ways, but the most popular methods are root division and leaf cuttings. Now the root division method. The simplest way to propagate is by division during repotting. Carefully take out the root ball and separate the rhizomes and make sure each section has at least one stem and root. Plant each division in separate pots with the same type of soil as the original. The leaf cutting method. Although a slower process, you can also propagate ZZ plants by leaf cuttings. Take a leaf and plant each segment about halfway into the soil. Keep the soil lightly moist and wait for a few months. Roots and a new rhizome will eventually develop. Now troubleshooting some common issues with ZZ plant. Even though ZZ plants are resistant to most pests and diseases, they can occasionally face issues like aphids or spider mites. If you notice pests, treat your plant with insecticidal soap or neem oil. Signs of overwatering include yellowing leaves and a mushy stem base. If you encounter this, reduce your watering frequency and ensure your soil and pot allow for proper drainage. Please like, share and comment below with your feedback and queries. Consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. Happy gardening!